Today's Tech Talk is presented by Cookout. Remember, fans, Cookout drive-through and walk-up windows are open as normal at all Metro Atlanta locations.
And here with us on Tech Talks from Georgia Tech men's basketball associate head coach Eric Reveno, senior Malachi Rice, here to talk about the All Vote No Play initiative that has swept the country and had its beginnings right here at Georgia Tech. And Malachi, I want to begin with you because this idea all sprouted from a Zoom call that you and your teammates and coaches had about 3 weeks ago. It was from something that you first floated on that Zoom call. Can you kind of explain and take everybody into that call itself and what you said and how that spurred a greater conversation?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I really just appreciate the coaching staff for even getting this call together. It really just gave everybody a chance and a platform to just express their feelings on everything that was going on. And it also gave us a chance to come together as a team. You know, given COVID, we didn't really have a chance to do that in a while. So first of all, it was great to just see everybody. And then second of all, talk about what was going on and to hear everybody out. Personally, just seeing what was going on, but I couldn't really go out to the protests just because, you know, with COVID still going on and things were getting kind of dangerous. I still had those feelings that I wanted, you know, to make some sort of change. I wanted to do something, and something that hadn't really dawned on me since I had gotten to Georgia Tech was like, I don't vote. I hadn't voted since I had gotten to Georgia Tech. And it was something now seeing, you know, sort of the effects of me not doing that, me and thousands of other people sort of just brushing that to the side. I wanted to say something about that. And what I really was saying was that if you're going to go to the protest and not vote, it's sort of hypocritical in my mind. If we're really adamant about making a change, you know, we have to do it on both ends, especially with voting, because one, it's just our civic duty. Like, this is, if you want to make change in our country, this is the way, you know, our founding fathers lined it up for us to do so. So, and two, I feel like it's just a part of maturity. I feel like, you know, my mom always stresses to me that you have to know what's going on in the world and you have to be aware of what's going on. And something that I didn't really think about too much until, you know, seeing everything that's happened was that, okay, it's not just the presidential election that matters. It's these local elections matter, you know, just as much. And that's something that really stuck out to me that I wanted to just convey to the rest of the team.
Mm-hmm. So, Mal, it was your suggestion, and then Rev, you really seized upon it and have since become this Pied Piper of the All Vote No Play initiative. How much is these last few weeks kind of energized you as a coach and as somebody who is a teacher of young men?
Tremendously. I mean, it's energized is a good word for it, because I was, like a lot of people 3 weeks ago, I was sort of wondering, I was in a funk, you know, you sort of got your pandemic blues going and everyone kind of dealing with that and everyone making the most of it. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're seeing the protests and the things that I've seen over my whole lifetime, over my whole coaching career, tragic deaths that seemingly don't need to happen. And, you know, a story, talking to a player, 40-year-old former player of mine, having to tell me about how he has to teach his kids differently than I have to teach my kids when they're pulled over by a policeman. And so, you know, those kinds of stories had me in this place where Malachi's words really resonated with me because, you know, like Malachi just explained it, you know, it's our responsibility. And then I see my responsibility as a citizen and as a teacher, educator, coach. And I feel like I fell short there, you know, I feel over the years, you know, what have I done to help engage guys, to get them to vote, to do, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to do more, you know, and I wasn't going to get bogged down, practice what I preach, not get bogged down in my bad practice yesterday, but have a good practice today, or my bad game last night. Don't get bogged down, although it's a lifetime of stuff. Maybe I want to make a difference going forward. So I had a heavy heart in the conversation. The guy shot me a text and tried to cheer me up, and, you know, but I woke up the next day and I was ready to go. And like, so yeah, no, I was energized, and it took me a little bit for us the guys that jumped on board, you know, to get some momentum and stuff. But in terms of to call it the all vote no play. The hashtag took a second. It wasn't the first tweet out, but I just started tweeting, and it just resonated. It's like I stumbled upon an idea. It's a simple idea, but it just really resonated for people. I think it really resonates in college athletics because you have coaches and administrators like myself who are putting out statements and saying positive things, but the need to make action, the need to take action is really critical. And the students want action. Like students like, Malachi and his teammates, they appreciate our good heart, our good words, and our support, and our, and this I said to be among family. To what I've said very honestly was, I've had a good heart my whole career. I've been a good coach and a team in the bubble, in the huddle. I've been good. Now we've got to take that huddle perspective and push outward and build the beautiful thing that we have on athletic teams and make it happen for others. Make it happen so when our guys leave the huddle, when they leave that huddle and Malachi goes home or goes for a run or does all these things, that they have the same, or afforded the same life and freedoms and opportunity that I've done, and we're not there yet. So Malachi's voice really resonated because it was about going back to the fundamentals. Also, as a coach, getting back to the fundamentals of being American, fundamental civic duty, and as educators, that's what we need to do. There's actually the Federal Education Act that requires registration, that requires universities to do that. And as athletics, we need to work within that and support that and do that. So I'm still energized. I challenge everyone I've asked, everyone I talk to about it, to say, check me in a year, check me in 2 years, because it's something that we got to stay the course. And that's why the proposal is for a national federal elections to be off days, mandatory off days, and we can talk more about that, what that means and everything. But the idea is it's in the books, not just one time. Because the election 2020, if people weren't coming out now and doing it now, I've just seen this in my lifetime where these things come in waves. We've got to stay the course, and I worry about 22, 24, and moving forward.
Mal, have you been surprised by how quickly this idea caught fire across intercollegiate athletics? And we've seen this idea of having the election day off now go into professional organizations, that this has really struck a chord with a lot of people.
I mean, honestly, no, I'm not surprised, because one, this is needed, and two, I mean, Coach just presented a great idea and a great initiative. I knew when I first saw it that it was only a matter of time before it started picking up, because of the effect that it could have. I knew, especially given Coach Reveno, has been in the game, like you said, 40 years of coaching, the people he knows, and a lot of people know about his heart and his great personality. I knew that people, would eventually see this good idea and agree with it and want to push it forward as well, including me. As soon as I saw it, just brought a big smile to my face. Just to know that, Coach Rev took my words and ran with it. I was so happy to see that, because I think this is so important, like Coach just said, like in our huddles, it's not 100% basketball. We talk about life, and Coach Pastor and Coach Rev and the rest of the coaching staff always tell us that, yes, they're there to make us better at basketball, but it's also to make us better people. When we leave Georgia Tech, they want us to be, ready to go out there and serve in terms of society. And this initiative is literally like an embodiment of that. Like just watching this initiative grow has literally taught me so much about, seeing Coach Rev like wanting to make a change and actually do it has really motivated me, when it's my time and I have that same opportunity to go do that. And like, it's never too late. And I know Coach has tried to say that, he's felt like he's fallen short, but I was one of those people who sent him a text like, Coach, you went above and beyond. Like you're the one that got me to Georgia Tech, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. So no, I was not surprised to see, this initiative grown like it has.
and it's grown a lot on social media, Mal. I got to ask you, any particular person that you've seen retweet, subtweet, express admiration, approval for this initiative that's really caught your eye, that made you realize, wow, this is taken off?
Yeah, I mean, the main one for me is Steve Kerr. When I saw that, I was like, okay, because he had made political comments in the past that had gotten a lot of attention. I'm talking about Steve Kerr. So just to see him tweet that out, I was like, okay, this is definitely going to pick up because he's someone, who has a lot of reach.
So, Rev, two questions here. Number one, what is the next goal in this initiative? And also, there have been some detractors, and I've seen you interact with them on social media, who say so many of these student athletes are out of state, they vote absentee. Why do you need an entire day off for that? What's your response to those people?
First of all, the next step, the NCAA, less than 2 weeks after we had our meeting and we got the word out, the NCAA, which is to move the NCAA to the point where they make a formal recommendation that we take the day off, was tremendous progress. So they basically, so I saw that they recommended it. A conference office person I've been talking to actually sent me the email and said, "Don't tweet this out. Do not tweet this out." Like I had him scared, but I saw it like 10 minutes before it came out, and I processed it, and it was either the NCAA. Basically, I took it as the NCAA signaling that they're supportive of the idea, but there's a legislative process in place. And that's where Georgia Tech, I have to say, has been unbelievable supportive. Like this idea doesn't get the traction it does without Georgia Tech's leadership. Shoshana Engel and Marvin Lewis and Josh Bassner were the ones I sent the initial text to and say, "What do you guys think?" I checked with and they said, "Run with it." They said, "Go." If they had said, "Yeah, I don't know, we got to talk to our communications department. I don't know if this is something that we need to, we're meeting on this. We're going to have a huddle about this. We're going to meet on this." They didn't do that. They said, "Go with it, run with it." So I had their blessing. And then Todd Stansbury jumped on board, then President Cabrera. And it was just my I didn't have any conversations, anything. I was surprised almost as anyone when they came out the next day with the announcement that they were all the sports were taking the day off from the election. So like that momentum it got, was tremendous. So that was their leadership. And Coach Collins in football, I wasn't sure where football sat in all this. But their willingness to take the day off is tremendous. So the next step is the Division I SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. My understanding is working to put together some legislation to propose it. The students have really run with this. And Shoshana from Georgia Tech said this early on, that you can go through coaches committees, and the NABC adopted it 2 days later. Our National Association of Basketball Coaches adopted it, but now the students are really the students owning it and being excited about it has really been tremendous. So now they're going to carry it forward, and hopefully make a legislation, hopefully this summer, hopefully the time. It could happen through a normal legislative cycle and maybe get approved in January or something. But I think the society, athletics needs it now. The NCAA is a fabric of our culture, and we need to lead. We're asking Congress for help with name, image, likeness, and we need support on some things. And we're trying to because we recognize our power as a non 501c3 in America and our importance. Well, we got to take that responsibility. We all have to own that responsibility and do something positive with it. I think that's important. So the students will try to get it through. But then a lot of the conversations I'm hearing, go back to your second part of that question, and is the point about education. And looking at Georgia Tech stats, we were actually pretty good in the 2016, 2018 elections in terms of our participation, really pretty good in 2018, above the national average of schools by 7%. 31%, I just call it a third, but 31% of our camp students that participated in the election in 2018 voted at the polls. And then around 33% did absentee. And then the other is assorted between the other by mail or whatever the other options. And so it was about that. So it's a lot of people don't need the day off. And my comment to that is that putting that day in the calendar allows the schools, the athletic departments to build the programming and the support and the build up to that. And it really is what will make it happen. Like a lot of holidays, it's symbolic. It's just a day. It's a day to focus on. It puts it in the calendar so that we're preparing for that day. To me, it's like scheduling a game. We're playing Georgia this year. It's a big game. Nothing's going to change if we don't prepare for that game. Nothing's going to happen if we don't work hard and get a plan and do a game plan. That's what coaches do. The Georgia Tech coaches reaching out are talking about it. There's a couple committees on campus already working on what we're going to do to help register. So you got the four things really are registration, then how you're going to cast your ballot by mail, absentee, ordering those ballots. I've learned a ton in a couple weeks. And then education. And then the third, the education, nonpartisan, there's a website called Ballotopia that you go to and you get ballot information, and giving guys the ballot information. And like Malachi said, hopefully these are habits that carry over to local elections, important things that matter all the time. What does your city supervisor do? What's the sheriff do? I voted in the last election, and there's sheriffs there that you're voting for, and like being informed as possible on some of those choices. And it's a challenge. And so helping them with that education piece, and then the actual day of the election, I had people reaching out about volunteer opportunities. There's a typical, Malachi will appreciate this. Dr. Bark, I think is his name. He's a professor of physics, Georgia Tech physics, physics degree in 72, and then went on to get his PhD in poli-sci, professor here. And he talks about the power of the actual physically going to vote, and also volunteering in the process. So being volunteers on election day, being very powerful. My personal favorite on the volunteerism is our guys helping move the machines. Evidently, those machines are a challenge, and our guys could do good work. I could just see Malachi, Jordan Usher would be great moving the machine, right? High energy.
Yeah, he would be great.
He'd be hustling, moving the machine, and bring that energy and passion to moving those voting machines, putting them in place. So that kind of stuff.
There you go. You can get some voting and some conditioning at the same time. Well, guys, it's been amazing to watch this initiative grow in such a grassroots way. We look forward to seeing what the future holds for it. And obviously, it's been a great representation of all that Georgia Tech basketball and its core values represent. So, Coach Reveno, Mal, we really appreciate the time. And Coach Rev, if you ever need somebody to knock on the door of the NCAA headquarters in Indianapolis, Malachi is joining us from Indianapolis, so you have somebody who's local.
There you go. That's right.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us on Tech Talks.
No problem. Thank you.